Have you ever noticed that the more time you spend on a decision, the longer you tend to procrastinate actually making that decision? I'm David Cherry. This is Business Therapy. Today, I want to talk about trusting your gut and how great business owners make decisions in their business. I wanted to cover some tips on how to make decisions like a pro, and let's dive in. The reason this is so important is decisions can truly make a massive difference in your life instantly. For example, if you wanted to move across the country from LA to New York City, you could probably make that decision and make that entire move in one day. You could get out of your lease, you could find a place to crash, you could book a ticket, get on a plane. You could change your entire life in a single instant every time you make important decisions. The trick is getting into a space where you're able to have the clarity and the insight to actually make the decision the right way. And that's what I want to talk about today. The first thing I see that tends to slow people down when it comes to decision making is spending more time on a decision. You might think that spending more time on a decision is going to help you make the decision better. However, most of the time, in my experience, when that happens, you start to overthink. You start to get a lot of other people's opinions. You start to get confused and forget why this decision was even important in the first place. And so if you're taking more time on a decision so that you can get more information, because you don't actually have a full picture of what's possible. For example, you want to start a business, but you need to understand how much money it's going to actually take to get off the ground. That's different. That's seeking information that can help you come to the place of a decision. But if you already have the information you need and you're seeking outside validation or opinions, or you're making pros and cons lists, which I'll get to, oftentimes you're just delaying and really killing the momentum of a decision that you might want to make. So spending more time is not going to help you with your decision making. You might also think that getting other people's opinions is helpful. Most often, this is not the case. And the reason is every person is just bringing their own experience and their own biases to the conversation. And while it can be helpful to get someone else's opinion, oftentimes the reason we're doing that is because we're just seeking validation. So next time you're bringing a decision to someone else, why are you bringing that decision to them? Are you wanting them to tell you to do it? Are they wanting them to tell you to not do it? What are you hoping they're going to tell you? That's going to give you some insight into what it is that you might want to decide yourself. And I just was talking with a founder recently about this, and he was getting really frustrated by other people's advice because he was saying they just don't get my vision for why I want to do this. And I'm like, yeah, they don't get your vision because that's something that you see and you understand the nuance of. They don't see it the same way and they don't understand that same nuance. Point number 3 I want to make is that there are no right decisions. There's only making decisions right. That quote is from Ellen Langer. She's a Harvard psychologist and researcher. And I think it's such a great point because you never can know the outcome of a decision. You can never know. This world is random. We don't have perfect projection onto the future. And so no matter what decision you make, you'll never know if it's the right decision. Even if it goes well, you don't even know how the other decision could have gone if you had taken the opposite approach. Maybe that could have gone even better. So rather than making perfect decisions all the time and feeling this pressure to do that, instead we can make a decision and then improve upon the decision that we've already made. So if you move to New York and you feel like it's the wrong decision because you feel lonely, well, how can I make more friends now that I'm already here? I'm working in a company. Actually, I don't even know if this is right for me. Well, can you switch roles? Is there a different thing that you can learn within that company? How do you make a decision that you've already made better? That's within your control. How something actually plays out is not necessarily ever really going to be fully in your control. My last point is something I've experienced a lot, which is the best decisions don't really have much of a justification because they come so much from our innate self and our knowing that we don't actually even have all these reasons on paper that sound really great. It is actually making decisions a little bit more on a feeling. I remember touring college campuses and you kind of just get a feeling that this just feels like the right place for me to go. And I think we should listen to that. Because if we're making pros and cons lists and we're coming up with all these mental ideas about why we should do something or why we shouldn't, I've found that the decisions I've made where it just felt right, or I just knew that this was something I should do deep down, I don't even have much of an explanation. It just is right for me. When I've looked back on those decisions in my life, I've never regretted them, even if they maybe led to something that was a little more difficult, because at the time I remember just feeling like that was what I knew I should be doing. So throw out the pros and cons list and see if you can find those areas in important decisions that you have right now that just feel right to you. So decisions are powerful. They can change your life in an instant. They can change your business in an instant. Which decisions are you delaying? How are you putting them off? What is your process for deciding? And how does that help you or take you away from doing what it is that you actually know that you should be doing? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to chat with you there. You can always like and subscribe. I publish every week. Be back again very soon. Later.